Auntie. Such an amazing opportunity and so much fun.
They say you can't become what you can't see. And for women, seeing female directors is the only way we can understand that that's a possibility for us.
I loved that Olivia and Katie created a film where characters aren't put in one box.
Olivia's casting in this movie is so incredible.
Some people are skateboarders and they'd never acted before in their life, and some of us come from theater. And she spoke to all of us in the language that we could understand.
She makes the space so safe that you feel comfortable to like push your boundaries as an actor.
To establish that kind of comfort on a set is a really special thing. So it seems like everybody was having such a great time the whole time.
We just had so much fun every single day on that set. My brain is filled with little joyful memories.
My dream from the beginning was to premiere this movie here. It's just such a warm, film-loving crowd, ready to enjoy films and have fun and experience them and participate in them, and I'm just so happy.
Thank you. Oh, you guys. Thank you so much. Let me introduce everybody. I would love to bring producer Jessica Elbaum. Come on out, Jessica. I would like her to be followed by Katie Silberman. Next is Austin Cruz. Diana Silvers. Eduardo Franco. Mason Gooding, Victoria Ruesca, Nico Hiraga, Noah Galvin, Molly Gordon, Jason Sudeikis, and Will Forte together. Billie Lourd. Last but not least, can I have together Kaitlyn Dever and Beanie Feldstein.
Well, everybody's got to take one step forward. We don't want you leaning against the screen, which is where we show the beautiful movies. Oh, thank you. I mean, what a good time for all of us, from all of you. Thank you. This is amazing.
Thank you.
So, how did it start? I mean, they kept, every question about both how the story came to you, and the casting of it.
Well, casting is a great, great thing, and it's even better when you have a genius like Allison Jones, our casting director, who, has discovered generations of brilliant talent, from Freaks and Geeks to Superbad to The Office and now to Booksmart. It was incredible to discover so many of these people with her and to get my dream cast. That's a filmmaker's absolute fantasy. And I'm so, so lucky because these people here are the future of the entertainment industry, and we are so lucky. Also, Jason and Will, they are the future.
It's just so funny. Although it's so, moving and warm, but it's just so funny. And in terms of was it just really funny on the page, or how hard is it to get that funny?
I'm so glad you mentioned the page. It was such a joy to bring this thing to life, especially with Katie Silberman, our writer and one of our producers. And I feel like she should answer that question.
I think there was a lot on the page that was elevated by Olivia at every aspect and everyone here. A really fun aspect of this whole process was how much it evolved after casting and how much everyone brought individually to every day. Dialogue, ideas, it was amazing to watch every scene evolve throughout the process as everyone brought more of themselves to it. And they're all so funny in such different ways, and it made it so easy for me every day. It was such a blast.
We actually can take some audience questions as well. There's mics here in the front, so go ahead and line up. interested in all the cast, but I can't help but point out, particularly I'm just going to point out, Kaitlyn has been here before. She was one of the short-term 12 people, so maybe her Oscar will come. So, no pressure, but but wait, can we hear from Beanie and from Kaitlyn about this is star-making turns here, and I don't know, anything you want to say is kind of interesting.
Anything? I'm shaking right now. I can't even control myself. I don't even know what to say. I feel so lucky to be here and to see everybody, and it's so great to be here with you. I'm so happy I'm going to start crying.
We're in a bit of a state of shock. I think I speak for the both of us when I say it was such a joint ride. Thank you for bringing up short-term 12, but also I'm already going to start crying. Kaitlyn is one of the most brilliant actresses of all time, so for me it was just to live, I just got to look at her every day and think, rise to her level, Bean, just get on up there. And the entire cast is just some of my closest friends in the world, my new closest friends in the world, the most brilliant, loving, nurturing, cool-ass leader in Olivia Wilde, and I think we're both just deeply overwhelmed.
Deeply overwhelmed. I second everything she just said.
Have you always wanted to direct?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely, but it takes a lot of courage to do it. And, I had to spend a lot of time paying attention and observing, and I started with music videos and shorts, and I recommend that to anybody in here who wants to direct. It's a good way to get your feet wet, and I just had a dream of making a film like the ones that I loved and still love. And for me, in my teenage years, it was the generational anthems that kept me going. It was films like Breakfast Club and Dazed and Confused and Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Clueless, and I thought, we need one of those for this generation. I want to add to that conversation.
Go ahead.
Just loved every choice that you made for the film, like the really tight shots of their faces. It's very character oriented, and especially the music. So my question is,
our music supervisor is here. I want to give him a shout out, Brian Lang.
So my question is how closely did you work? It was a collaborative thing. It was awesome. So I just want to know how much of your input was in the music.
The music?
Versus his, yeah.
Well, we are really good friends, Brian and I, and old friends, and we collaborated on this completely, and it was a process of, me saying, for production, I want 10 playlists so I can play music the entire time we're shooting, because I believe in music on set. And that was an amazing thing, because we were creating music for this film from every process, and from every part of the process. And then when we got down to actually choosing tracks, it was such a great collaborative thing to say, I've tried 17 different things, this one feels good, but I bet it's impossible to get, right? And he'd say, yes, but I'll make it happen. So it was really amazing. There's a lot of my favorite music in the world in this movie, and we're so, so lucky. I should call out one of our actual musicians on our soundtrack is here tonight, Santi Gold. I just want to thank her. So excited for that. Very, very, very lucky.
Go ahead.
All right. I want to say first off, as someone in the class of 2019, I appreciate it. It was great. This is so much fun.
19? What?
Yes. Yeah. My question for Olivia is one of the things that sticks with me right now is the whole climax of their argument, and I love how you put the two sides, how they just don't know what's going on with them in the past 3 minutes, right? But it boils up to be a great argument. And I'm wondering what your artistic choice was when you faded out the whole argument scene to just be a lip syncing. I wonder what you thought about that.
Yeah, well, I think there's arguments that we've all been a part of that are so overwhelming that at a certain point you kind of black out. You don't even know what you're saying. It's so emotional. And you're just saying things to hurt so that you don't get hurt. And that's a familiar feeling. It only happens in arguments with people you care about deeply. And when these brilliant actresses created that scene, which was, by the way, one shot, I don't know if you noticed, but they are geniuses who nailed that on the second take. And it was truly heartbreaking, and we had a lot of very manly grips, crying. But it was incredible to watch because we thought at a certain point it becomes a universal experience watching that argument, and everyone personalizes it. And I thought we should remove the dialogue so that it becomes universal in that way, and you're just swept away by the emotion. And because they're so talented, their faces are saying everything we need to know anyway.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Before I ask my question, this film was amazing, and the acting was really good. It was very heartfelt, and not like a lot of coming-of-age stories I've seen recently. And that leads me to my question. What were, for Olivia, what were some of your directorial skills that do you have any tips for aspiring filmmakers for making like films like coming-of-age stories? Like, did you base some of this off of like personal experiences, or did you just like come up with a funny idea for this film like one day when you were just writing the script? Or?
I love that question, and I want you to make a coming-of-age film because I can tell you've got one in your head. And my advice would be you've got to personalize it because it has to be personal in order for you to make it feel authentic. And you've got to cast well. You should really hire Allison Jones, as I mentioned. But you have to cast well because they are your collaborators. And I think a lot of times people who want to direct stop themselves because they assume they have to do every job on their own, and that's just not true. A director is a collaborator. The job of a director is to create the most fertile environment so people can do their best work. So all you have to do is bring the right people together, and then you have to set them free, and you've got to trust them. And if you got a cast like this, you can totally trust them.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi. Oh my goodness, sorry, I'm a little nervous. Thank you so much for making this. It just spoke so much to me. When I gave my graduation speech, I didn't know any of the students really in the audience, and like, it just really meant a lot to me.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry. Thank you. So for Katie, I just wanted to ask, like, how many different iterations of an ending did you go through, or how did you get to that final scene?
The graduation scene, or we went
when
through a
they're
lot
saying
of.
goodbye to each other.
Oh yeah. Well, that was there really from the beginning as the ending. Olivia had such an incredible vision of the arc of the story and the story. When we realized it was kind of a breakup movie, it's like about a friendship's breakup. That was really pivotal, I think, because we were working towards that the entire time, and we knew that. I love it that, like, when you really love someone, you can't say I love you or goodbye. You're just like, okay, see you later, cool. And that they knocked it out of the park in such an extraordinary way. That was a really crazy scene to shoot, and people were crying on set when they were doing it. They were so amazing. So it was fun to be able to work towards that the whole time, and things in between ebbed and flowed, but Olivia knew exactly where it needed to end the whole time, and it was wonderful to have that goalpost.
So much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
This really did not feel to me like a film directed by a first-time filmmaker. I thought, in terms of pacing and flow between scenes and structure, I was just so thoroughly impressed the whole time with how it managed to kind of unfold, and you begin to realize, oh, this is all over the course of one night kind of feel. Did you have any inspiration or sort of, I guess, guiding principles as to how you wanted the film to progress from scene to scene as far as how it was paced and how the flow of the structure of this sort of one crazy night structure, because it just felt so alive and well-paced, I guess.
Well, I really want to give credit to our editor, Jamie Gross. Jamie, can you stand up? She's right there. It really is very, very important to collaborate with an editor who understands the pacing you have in your head and can make it better than you ever dreamed. And I'm really, really proud of the fact that we were able to shove all of this activity into one night, into one movie. Of course, I had a 3-hour cut of the film that I think would have been really wonderful. But no, I think, I was inspired by movies like The Big Lebowski, movies that are kind of odysseys that happen very quickly and go through so many different environments. And it's so exciting to see so many different levels of performances, from broad to subtle, and so many different amazing textures. And I think we can do that with a generational anthem epic, about young people. So, but truly, it's all about your editor.
Go ahead.
Hey, I just thought the movie was like unbelievably sincere. I think that all of the close-up shots of the actors, just so subtle. You guys did such a good job of not acting. I was sitting there, I'm like, these guys could have been my friends in high school. I actually have a question for Beanie, if that is okay.
Of course.
So I think, so you have your like Booksmart girl, and she's kind of bitchy, and everybody in high school has that person. I was that person, so I know they exist. But I loved that you made her lovable. So what were your thoughts whenever you were creating Molly as a person, and like your facial reactions, especially in a couple of those final scenes? Like, what were you thinking whenever you were thinking about Molly and who she is?
Thank you so much for that question. I feel like she's such an intensely passionate and loyal person, and her intensity sometimes gets the best of her, but I think a lot of people that are that intense and have that much of a wall are really vulnerable underneath. And so I think it was so fun to collaborate with Kaitlyn and build that relationship, because you get to see Molly behind closed doors and how silly and fun and loving she is. So I think it's I think so much of the film is learning about the duality of people and how you can see something on the outside and they can be going through something very different on the inside. And Molly's beautiful performance in the car as AAA is so symbolic of that. And I think for my character, she loves Amy so much, and she can be loose and silly and fun, but she takes things so seriously, and she has to put that armor on at school and around these people that she doesn't feel like understand her, when really all along she was the one judging them.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead. And then you'll be the last one, but go ahead.
Hi, thank you guys so much. This was absolutely amazing. So actually kind of going off that, like the duality, and it's amazing because you see a movie like this and you get these recognizable archetypes and it's familiar and you can enter into the story that way, but then we get so much depth and new nuance to these like recognizable kind of, slots. So I'm curious, from the writer's perspective, how did you guys balance kind of the archetype with the unique character elements that you managed to give each and every one of these cast members?
Well, there's a nice shortcut, because as you're saying, like anyone who watches these movies projects those archetypes themselves. So if you in high school as well as in movie watching, if you see someone with one quality, it's easy to box them into that quality. So our goal the whole time, revealing the layers of everyone as it went on, it was fun to go one by one and say, this is who you'd assume they'd be, what's underneath throughout the story, throughout the journey. And I think, the performances do most of it, but it was fun to say, like, okay, if there's someone like AAA that everyone assumes is this kind of person, how can we not say she's not completely different, but there are so many layers to that underneath to really understand her perspective. It was a lot about just shifting perspective throughout, which was fun.
Thank you.
I'm so, you are all so great. You're so great in the movie, and I'm sorry that we don't have time to talk to all of you in depth, but it's just amazing to see you all here. So I just want to appreciate that so much. And, we got one more here. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm last, but I swear I'm not least. So first of all, thank you for creating such a real depiction of high school. I just graduated, and to see such a great depiction of how much of a mess it can be was really nice, because I hate the stupid stuff like Riverdale. But so I hope they're not in here. So I do have a question. It can be for anyone. I feel like a lot of the times when we're creating art, we forget the fun parts. So does anyone have a funniest or most memorable memory that they have from this experience?
There's a lot. So many. What?
Okay, nobody's talking. So, right, look. Oh yeah, okay. So, one memorable experience for me, I was graduating during this time, and I was this is my first time in drag. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna look, but then I ended up looking good. So then, I was doing, so like graduation week, I have these essays and stuff due. I'm literally telling my teachers, okay, like, all right. So then I'm like, okay, you know what, like, I have this movie, blah, blah, blah. They were like, okay, you can go, but get this. LA, I went to school at NYU. LA is 3 hours behind. So when something's due at midnight, I got like 3 hours less to do it. Y'all know I already corrupted the file. Y'all know I corrupted the file. But, y'all know you have to do it sometime. But, I was literally sitting behind like being an eye line for like Beanie and Kaitlyn, literally like, he's dead, he's dead. Like doing my essay in the clam, like in the dress, like trying to get it done. That was a memorable moment.
Thank you.
Well, tomorrow, Olivia is actually giving a keynote tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning at the conference.
Come on by.
Cannot wait to hear. We'll see if you make it after staying up all night. We're celebrating, but we look forward to that. And then there's a cast panel of sorts again also that I mentioned earlier, what time it is in the conference to continue this conversation. This film is great. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, guys.
Premiere.